My name is Piero Colonna. I am part of the SU2 Foundation Board, and I'm chairing the first session today. Before we start, I would like to call for an applause for Tom, who is an exceptional chairman of the board, and his dedication is just admirable, as well as his skills in guiding the group. Thank you, Tom. The first speaker today, it's a bit funny for me to introduce him because I see him every day, is Dr. Pini, Matteo from TU Delft. He will tell us about some ideas that we're developing regarding the creation and stimulation of work groups within the SU2 community. Matteo, the floor is yours.
So, thank you very much, Piero, for the kind introduction. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the online attendees. It's a pleasure to open and say this conference with a non-technical speech. That's the first time for me talking about something non-technical. That's something which I dare a lot. So the SU2 Working Group, the concept, and two examples from the community. So this presentation is in tandem with Dr. Professor Marco Fossatti, Marco, from the University of Strathclyde. And let's see. All right. So why working group? So I think since the beginning of this community, the establishment of working groups has been one of the principal, let's say, issue and wish, because a working group is nothing but a bridge. We can see it as a bridge between the foundation and the community. So if we see now the SU2 community as a whole, we can think of it just like this table, right? And on one side there is the foundation, so the board members, which I would like to really thank. And on the other side there is a community of users and developers. Of course, developers usually are sitting in the middle. But how can we bridge better, let's say, the large bunch of users and let's say the smaller of developers to the members of the SU2 board, for instance? And the working group is a mean to reach that. Working groups are there, should be there to incentivize cooperation, cross-fertilization, to exchange ideas among, let's say, people that are very interested in a specific area. And of course, a working group can be used also to make the whole community more aware of available features, because we have a bunch of people, so it's also sparse on different branches, ongoing developments, and finally events. There are, for instance, blind software competitions that might be very useful for showing off the capability of SU2. As of now, I would say, if you go to the SU2 website, you can find, say, some working groups that has been established in the past. But that's the perception. So far, let's say, this concept didn't work so well, possibly because the creation working group has been always a, let's say, top-down approach. So today we want to show you two examples out of the community, showing you that it's possible to build up active and successful working groups from the bottom. So, and with this, we want to stimulate actually a discussion. We want to engage people, and specifically, I will talk more about SU2 Turbo, so SU2 Working Group about machinery, while Marco will talk about SU2 Nemo, a very successful group. These are two very different, come from two very different experiences. So SU2 Nemo, I would say, is well established, led by Marco, and SU2 Turbo is coming soon. So about SU2 Turbo, so a brief overview. Well, our mission, at least we gather, let's say a few people interested in this specific area. We gather and we decided that we want to be the gateway to open to machinery knowledge. And the reason is that we see an increasing interest for various reasons from various parts of the world. You will see that China is now taking a leading role. Our objectives, so a list here, I don't want to read through them, but first we want to coordinate about the development of a turbo code. And you will know why in a short while. And then, of course, create and maintain a set of relevant test cases, because, for instance, for people interested in this specific area, if you go to the SU2, if you download the code, you can find some test cases, but you don't find tutorials. And what happens nowadays is that many people started approaching me or other people in the group in Delft asking, hey, how can I set up a simulation, for instance? We want to change this paradigm. So I will be honored to coordinate, at least at the beginning, this working group, and in the hope that in the future I will have a successor. Initial members. So these are, let's say, institutions which expressed interest: Imperial College, Universidad Politécnica de Madrid, Tsinghua University. So actually, the first two are connected to the third, that is basically pushing. Let me say that. Liverpool. I'm very glad that here today there is a representative, a PhD student from Liverpool, with whom I already had the pleasure to interact. Sinairo Research Group in, let's say, Research Institute in Belgium. I'm going to visit them at the end of September, showing off the capability of SU2 for turbo application, and us, of course. And ... means that hopefully there will be more. But let's say the main idea is to start with a small group to get the ball rolling. From now on, it's about more people as interested in this area. So if you download the code, the master version or the develop, what you can find are a bunch of features through which you can run steady and unsteady computations in, say, sometimes simple and sometimes not simple because of the absence of, say, available test cases. We want to make all this, box way more richer than now. So as a working group, we set up some short-term goals, and the first foremost is to try to merge into the develop all the dispersed turbo features, and there are a bunch of them that are available in various branches. We already started this challenge, but we didn't finish yet because we need manpower, simply speaking. So, and then after that, we would like to create a set of VLE test cases. Here you see some, let's say, here you see what we selected as relevant test cases, and these test cases have been selected because they are of industrial relevance. Because only because of that we can show off, for instance, to companies, to research institutions, that we can do really, really cool stuff. And finally, a couple of tutorials. So long-term goals. Maybe I can imagine that these are shared among also other people in the community dealing with other types of physics or flow problems. We want to improve the numerics. We want to, let's say, revamp the nonlinear harmonic balance solver, which has been very successful, and it's out there but not available yet in the development for turbo features. Physics, we want to go beyond runs. We are already doing so, but not yet there. So hybrid runs, LES. I know this is a hot topic for the whole community, for instance. We want to go multi-physics, and we want to go multidisciplinary. So a bunch of stuff. These are more long-term goals, and I think this must be also agreed with other people in the community. Having said that, if you want to contribute, more information will be posted soon. So I take the responsibility with you, Tom, to share more information so you can post on the website so that people can have a look at that, and then we can start, doing practical work. Thank you very much, and I leave the floor to Mark.
Okay, thank you, Matteo. Thank you, Piero. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everyone, and welcome again also from my side to this conference. So I'm gonna steal just a few minutes to go about this other working group that is called NEMO. NEMO stands for non-equilibrium models, but I like the fact that it's really the chapter from the literature, right? As Matteo was mentioning earlier, NEMO is a little bit older than the Turbo Working Group, essentially because it started a little bit earlier. And the point here is very similar in terms of conception, in terms of ambition, and so on. But what we really are trying to do now is to work on implementing features, capabilities of NEMO that will allow us to really increase our engagement with the hypersonic and non-equilibrium flow community. We are working already on this, and we are observing some initial successes with the European Space Agency that has already manifested interest in the capabilities of NEMO for atmospheric planet re-entry, space exploration, and so on. But we really want to make this grow much bigger with a larger impact possible. So we have a few objectives, right? It's not a matter of we have few objectives. These are objectives that we came up with from a little bit of conversation in our bi-weekly meeting, and Jacob, Wally, and all the other people have been there helping in shaping a little bit these ideas. But as Matteo was saying, this is really a bottom-up thing, right? So it's very welcome, any additional contribution and any way to refine, to improve, and to make these objectives look better and more interesting, right? Because again, yes, it's another CFD code, another code that does hypersonics. So we want to go away from that vision and really focus on the important things that make things excited about it. The group, well, I have been well, coordinator, maybe it's a strong word, but let's say helping out the conversation and the exchange of information in science and development since the beginning. Right now, the very active and current members are listed here: Stanford, Arizona, Strathclyde, and VKI. We have bi-weekly meetings. I could share the link for the bi-weekly meeting with Tom, and everybody could join it. I was going a little bit into the history and statistics of it a while ago, and I think I mean by while ago I mean a little while before COVID. We had a couple of bi-weekly meetings with a lot of people, something in the order of 20 being there attending, but then it went down. Well, sorry, is what it is. And in all of this, we really need to acknowledge, I mean, the people and the partners and the institutions that really helped out in the very beginning. I remember in 2018, we were in Glasgow and we had this initial conversation. Nazo were there, Daniel from Bosch was there, Alberto, Matteo, and many other people. And we started, again, putting ideas on paper, and then, well, here we are with a little bit of history behind our shoulder, but it's looking okay. So NEMO has a number of features. I don't want to go into the very detail of it. It's always kept up to date in the develop branch. If you go on SU2, you download, you change the branch to develop, you have the NEMO solver with these features, main features. And so these are very, again, high level, and these are really the outcome of all the people that have been working in the NEMO group, with the, let's say, slight difference in terms of the anisotropic mesh adaptation part, because that is something that was developed at INRIA, but we are working to make the integration and the connection even seamless and more effective. NEMO is on GitHub, so you can download it and you see a little bit the latest comments. In terms of roadmap, I have had a slightly different pitch with respect to Turbo in the sense that I would like to, I mean, with the other people in the NEMO community, we try to go in the direction of saying, what are the usability, if that's a nice English word, objectives that we want to achieve in terms of making the user experience better. Again, we are receiving questions: how do I run NEMO? Or is there an example of NEMO with chemistry? Is there an example that is 3D and so on? And so we are not there yet, but we want to be there. And so there are these usability goals in terms of verification and validation, which is more on the science side and so on. We want to have a nice list of tutorials. Right now there is a list of regression test cases that are continuously run to check that nobody is being broken, but still regression tests are different than validation test cases, and we want to go in the direction of continuous performance improvement. So better CPU time, increased robustness, and so on. In terms of modeling goals, and this goes more into the physics and the numeric side of things, this is, I'm done? 2 minutes. Okay, that's nice. I got scared. That's my last. I didn't. I mean, I said, okay. That's the last second slide. So this roadmap that you see here in terms of physics and numerical modeling is the result of a workshop that we did right before Christmas last year. And these are the top priorities of the working group people that we would like to keep developing. Some of them are nearly there, some of them are in progress, some of them are a little bit longer term, like if you look at magneto gas dynamics. That is something that will take a little bit more time and effort, but this is where NEMO is going with his submarine. Same concluding slide. We have bi-weekly meeting. We're supposed to have one this week. We're not having it. It will be in 2 weeks from now. So please, any questions, anything, just let me know. Drop me an email. I'll be happy. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Matteo and Marco? Maybe you should be around. Any question from the audience? Any question from people online? No questions. Maybe one from me. Marco, I wasn't clear if NEMO is already in the develop or yes.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it is also a bit more advanced than Turbo, but it'll get there. No questions from the audience? No. If